Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video is the Community Replay Series. This is replay number 12, and it was sent in by DMags98. He's playing in his Tier 9 German battleship, the Friedrich de Grosse, and he's divisioned up with a couple of his buddies who are in the Friedrich and the Baltimore, respectively, and they're playing some Bastion here on the map, the Atlantic. So if you'd like to send a replay into us here at BIA World of Warships, please send it to all caps BIA worldofwarships@gmail.com. Please include the replay file and post battle results screenshots, and also give us a little summary of how the game went. And if you'd like myself, Puddin, or Spider to do the commentary on the replay, please mention that as well. So, why did we choose this replay for our 12th installment? Well, I gotta tell you, the damage is great, the experience is great, the action is pretty good, but what sets this replay apart is just how this game is so passive-aggressive. About the first half of the game here, the D-Mags is going to play. He's going to be kiting away, doing some very German tactics, just trying to deal damage at medium to long range while not trying to take too awful much in return. And then all of a sudden, basically, a switch is going to get flipped, and he's going to go into full-on man mode, and he's just going to sweep the floor of the enemy ships in, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. It's just incredible. You guys gotta keep on watching this replay. It will be slightly boring here at the beginning, but trust me, as soon as he makes that turn back into Objective 1 as he runs into the Zao, I don't think that guy was paying any attention at all. As soon as he makes his turn back in towards Objective 1, it's going to get pretty awesome, so stick with us here. So, the Friedrich de Grosse, really quickly, it's been featured a few times here on our World of Warships channel, put in most recently with a really good replay. The link to that video is in the description below. The Friedrich here in World of Warships at Tier 9 it's good. The Iowa has always been the mainstay, the go-to battleship for Tier 9s, but the meta has changed the last couple of months, and with the introduction of the Friedrich, and then of course the Missouri, which just came out recently, which was featured in our last community replay, there's something about Tier 9 battleships now that you got to think about. The Azumo is that really good mid-range ship that has really good secondaries. The Freddy is even better, I'd say close range, a very good close range battleship with really good secondaries. And then you have the Missouri and the Iowa, which are supposed to be the mid to long range snipers. However, the Missouri has really good armor as well. So no longer is the Iowa the king of the Tier 9 battleships. There are certainly others to play with, and quite frankly, I feel like I'm going to do better in my Freddy once I get to it. I'm currently at the Nysa now, about halfway to the Bismarck, and it has really good armor. It has very inaccurate, just like the Tirpitz and the Nysa now and Scharnhorst preceding it at tiers 8 and 7 respectively. Very inaccurate guns, but they punch really hard, and you get 16.5-inch guns, the option at least, to mount these on this Tier 9 German battleship, and you only get 8 of them, but when they hit, boy, do they hit hard. And they do hit even harder than the American 16-inch guns, which are really good as well, as he gets a salvo out on the Amagi. And although, like I said, the accuracy is really bad, you only need a couple shells to hit to do some serious damage. And like I said, the secondaries are really good. The maneuverability is rather poor. It has one of the largest turning radiuses in the entire game. It's up near 1,000 meters. It also has a really long rudder shift, but the trump card for that is that the Germans get their classic hydroacoustic, which is really good. So that will be put to use here in this replay. And overall, the Freddy is a very good ship. And it's debatable if it's better than the Iowa and the Missouri, but I'm certainly excited to get to it once I do. Anyway, enough blabbering about that. He's up to 12,000 damage, 297 to 339. The scores are they have already lost one of their destroyers, and this game is going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Trust me on this one. Now, this is something here that he's doing at the beginning of the game that I don't necessarily agree with, but obviously he's going to be taking targets or taking shots at targets whenever he can. But this kind of long range, you can see the dispersion as the shells are traveling through the air. It's just not the best, and he only gets 2 overpens for 2,700. I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, but it's just not very good. Now, this is the kind of shot that you want. 13 kilometers and below, that's when you start to get into the really good range for German battleships. And we have a Kutuzov that's backing up in the open. I have no idea what he's doing. But once again, the dispersion on his salvo is a little lackluster, and as the shells fall in on the target, he only manages to get a couple of penetrations, but nonetheless, 10,000 damage. Like I said, you only need a couple pens to get some sick damage, and that friendly Atago just off his starboard side just got absolutely nailed by the Friedrich, who was at a solid range for him on that shot that he put into the friendly Atago, and you saw there, he was very close to him. So the majority of his team has moved down to Objective 1, and his friend in the Baltimore has taken some massive hits. He got caught out a little too close to the number 2 objective as it gets taken by the enemy, and basically his entire team has been pushed down here. He's already lost 3 ships on his team, 259 to 461, and the enemy team is going to continue to gain points rapidly. He shoots a blind shot at the enemy Minotaur as he has come almost to nearly a stop as he starts to speed up yet again, and the shells fall in. 1 shell hits Overpen for 1350. 27,000 points of damage. He continues to take some shells here from some enemy ships. Not sure which that one was from. Probably the Kutuzov, but I don't know 100% for sure. The Kutuzov is continuing to travel in a straight line as he has to wait for those friendly torpedoes to get by him before he's able to make his turn. So right here, Daymags is getting ready for another broadside here on the Kutuzov. The shells are out. He is starting to slow down, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get a few shell hits, it looks like, and a couple of overpens for 2,700. So another poor shot. That Kutuzov is absolutely lucky to have not been deleted by now 2 salvos that D-Max has had on him when he's been basically stationary. But I digress. The Kutuzov does have some pretty troll armor, even though it's a light cruiser. About 30,000 damage done here for D-Max. He's got his next salvo ready to go here on the Kutuzov. He's looking for a shot. The Kutuzov is going to continue to turn into him. Unfortunately, he's not going to aim low enough, and as he gets an actual solid bit of dispersion on that salvo, 1350 with 1 overpen, so not the best at all. He does use his first damage control party. He's going to get some health back. The enemy team just continues to push right through Objective 2. His friendly team has now lost 4 ships to the enemy's 1, and yeah, it's not looking very good here at all. He's looking for his next salvo here on the enemy Friedrich the Grosse, Boba Brett, it looks like. Shots out, and once again, look at the dispersion. It's just not the best. I don't know if he has the accuracy module on or not, but nonetheless, his finally a good salvo, about 10,000 damage. He's had quite a few bad salvos the last few times that he's shot, so it's nice to see that RNG threw him a bone there. That Friedrich the Grosse is taking quite a bit of punishment from his friendly team. His secondaries do get to work here on the gearing that is trailing him at 9.7 kilometers. The Friedrich does have secondaries that can reach out to over 10 kilometers with a full secondary build, which I take that he is using. He takes a pretty substantial hit from something, not sure what. More solid shells falling into the superstructure. That's where you want to aim on these high-tier German battleships, not at the hull at long range, but into the superstructure. So back-to-back salvos there of about 17,000 on that Friedrich the Grosse, so good stuff there. He's up to 51,000 points of damage, and he's looking for shots. Just look at all the ships that he can shoot at. There's a Neptune, a Minotaur, another Freddy in Iowa. He's looking for shots here now on the Minotaur that is completely stationary, 18.2 kilometers away. And it's ironic that he's going to get his first Citadel on his longest shot of the game. We're going to follow the shells in here. A few land just at the base of the ship. 18,900 damage on that enemy Minotaur. There we go. 70,000 points of damage done. 321 to 640 the score is now. His team has lost 5 ships, and the enemy team has only lost 2 cruisers. So at the moment, the scores just continue to get worse and worse and worse. He's looking for yet another salvo here on the enemy Minotaur. As he does, it appears, starts to speed up. He does go invisible, and he gets yet another salvo out. So basically what you've seen so far is him just kiting away, trying to do decent damage at whatever target is presenting him the best broadside. But overall, it really just hasn't had the kind of impact that your top-tier battleships should have. Again, the damage is respectable considering what he's had to do, and quite frankly, if he hit it into Objective 2, he would be dead by now, so I guess I can't be too harsh in my critiquing. But certainly, this is not the kind of gameplay that you want to be doing all the time in this ship. But again, do not worry, the replay is about to get pretty sweet. He gets a broadside out on the enemy Iowa, and the Iowa has the great deck armor, and yeah, bounce, no damage done. He's now coming under fire from the enemy Neptune. Those British light cruisers can be very pesky. They don't do much damage with their 152mm guns, but when they hit, they get that super heavy armor-piercing shell, and they do not have any high explosive except for the premium Perth and Belfast. So, yeah, he's not going to be taking too much damage from this guy, and look at that dispersion. Yet again, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but that is just abysmal. 2 shells bounce, surprisingly enough, off of the Neptune, and he's going to continue to take more shells. He gets one of his turrets incapacitated, 312 to 728. His team has lost 6 ships. The enemy team has still only lost 2. And with this upcoming salvo, the man pants are about to be getting put on. Gets a 6-round salvo out at the enemy Neptune. He realizes a mistake and tries to turn back in, gets a double Citadel for 29,000 points of damage. Very solid hit. His secondaries are also going to town on the enemy Neptune. And yeah, he's up to 100,000 damage, so there we go. Now that was a really good salvo right there. Now we're starting to see some good stuff here. He's looking for another shot here. He's going to get one of his turrets reloaded before the majority, the rest of them do so. He gets his third turret, I believe, out on the Neptune, and he gets the rest of his guns out right as he gets around the island. He gets 4,000 on the first two guns, and a couple more shells hit for 7,000. So back-to-back salvos on the Neptune. Well over 30,000 damage, so very good stuff right there. You take a look here at the team score, and again, half of his team is gone, including all, or I should say the majority of his destroyers, and now he's going to be looking for some really long-range shots here at this point, the enemy Mogami. And once again, it's going to be kind of funny here because I talk about how just atrocious the Freddy's dispersion is, and once again, you can see on screen that does not look like it's going to register very many hits. But, yeah, right as he zooms back in, there we go. All right, Citadel, a couple overpens. First ship destroyed for him, 133,000 points of damage, devastating strike. And like I said, he's putting his man pants on. He's heading right back in there. Now, that Neptune has pushed way too far forward. He has his Hydro going, so even though he popped his smoke, he's not going to go undetected. Gets his front two guns out, and ba-boom, there we go. Another Citadel, second ship destroyed. Second enemy cruiser, that is, the Tier 9 British one. And now, all of a sudden, with a couple more kills by his teammates, the enemy team has all of a sudden lost 4 ships in a matter of about a minute or so, and they've somewhat pulled the scores back, 487 to 702. They have captured the third objective, and of course, they've had the first one for quite some time. So now all they got to do is try to get to objective 2, and they will be okay. So as he starts to turn to starboard, he gets his full broadside out on the enemy Iowa. Just like German battleships, if you manage to hit the superstructure with a lot of shells, you can do some good damage, and right there you can see, knocks out the turret and gets about 9,000 damage done. There's an enemy Friedrich the Grosse and an Amagi and a Fletcher that are off to his starboard side, and he is taking some decent hits, but you can see here just the armor on this thing is fantastic, and one of the destroyers launched a full salvo of torpedoes down the channel, expecting D-mags to be coming through here, but again, the German Hydro detects those torpedoes long before he has any chance of getting hit, and now he's going to utilize the Neptune smoke that he so kindly left for him as he gets his front guns out here on the enemy Iowa, and as he gets inside the smoke, he's finally going to get a respite from just the battering of shells that have been coming his way. Scores 553 to 738 at the moment. The enemy team has 6 ships left, and his team has 5. He's going to do a tactical knots right here. Just give the rock a little boop. There we go. Sets a fire with his secondaries on the enemy Iowa. And now that Iowa is in a very compromising position, he does what, well, everybody usually does. He's going to turn a broadside here really shortly. He's going to get his front guns working on him. And the Iowa, compared to the Missouri really quickly, the bow armor on the Iowa, even at an angle like this, as you can see on screen, is just absolute garbage. And when he does shoot his forward turrets here, as he sets yet another fire with the secondaries, this is going to be Citadel City right here, and boom, there we go. Another Citadel. Up to 6 Citadels. Third ship destroyed. That enemy American Tier 9 battleship picks up the Confederate and the high caliber. Solid stuff. His team is bringing the scores back ever so more. 5 ships left on each team, 656 to 693, and now he's going to push out here from behind the island, and we're going to witness some pretty epic stuff. His secondaries are going to town now on the enemy Fletcher, and yeah, he is having a fantastic game. All of a sudden, just by turning around and heading right back and trying to force it down the enemy team's throat, it's going to be some epic stuff here. He gets his forward guns out on that enemy Friedrich the Grosse, and now he's going to charge down those battleships. Shells flying in on the Fletcher from the Zal, take care of business, so now he doesn't have to worry about the destroyer threat, at least temporarily, that's over here. And he's going to go toe-to-toe with the Freddy and the Amagi. So now you're going to see right here just why German battleships are so darn deadly. The brawling capabilities of these ships is fantastic, and when you're able to get to ranges where the accuracy on your guns really don't matter at all, then you're going to see some pretty epic stuff. He's swinging his rear turrets into play. The Friedrich the Grosse does have some pretty crappy broadside angles to get a full salvo out, but nonetheless, shots out on the Amagi, and there we go. 22,000 with yet another Citadel. Citadel number 7. He cracks 200,000 points of damage. A truly epic game. 2 of the destroyers appear off of his port side, and his secondaries are going to town on them as they're about 8-9 kilometers away. There we go. Shells flying in from the Amagi, and listen to all the ricochets. Just listen to the beating that he has taken, and he doesn't care. He's getting ready for his next salvo here on the enemy Amagi. Shots out, and the Amagi's troll armor comes into play yet again. Not a citadel, but 12,000 points of damage. More shells hitting him, and he is tanking the damage like a boss. He uses his damage control and his repair. He continues to swing his turrets into play. His secondaries continue to batter the Amagi. 28,000 hit points that he has, and he still has that Freddy that's right off his battle with 59,000. He's up to 220,000 points of damage. His team now has a commanding lead as the gearing does take out his friendly gearing, but 804 to 668. Looking for yet another broadside here on the Amagi, and once again the Amagi's troll armor coming into play. A few shells actually ricochet, a couple overpens 4,000 damage, and the Amagi shoots high explosive, and he tanks the high explosive for only 4,000 damage. His secondaries are continuing to pepper the guy. Set yet another fire. The shells hitting his ship is just absolutely ridiculous right now. More shells are ricocheting off the side of his hull. Come on now, RNG. Hook the man up. Give him the 4th kill destroyed for him. Let's go. Shells are almost ready to go. Full broadside out, and bada boom! There we go. 11,000 points more of damage. 4th ship destroyed. 242,000 points of damage. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have enough hit points to be able to continue to go. And that Friedrich shoots yet another salvo at him, and he gets taken out. But anyway, what an epic game here in the Freddy on the map Atlantic. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. Just north of 350,000 credits received, over 5,000 total XP, devastating strike, high caliber and Confederate, 242,000 points of damage off of 70 target hits and 7 citadels, 68 target hits with the secondaries, 4 ships destroyed. Taking a look now at the team score, 2,707 base XP. What a meaty number. So DMags 98, thank you very much, sir, for sending in this replay. What an epic result. With that being said, the Sneaky Snake here for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much.